In this one, we'll be looking at 5 times NBA stars carried bad supporting casts to achieve more than anyone expected. I'm only doing one entry per player, so if you feel like a particular season may have been missing from this list, that's probably why. Number 5, 2006 Kobe Bryant. At number 5, we have arguably the worst supporting cast on the entire list. Outside of a quality role player in Lamar Odom, the Lakers had absolutely nothing significant to support Kobe. The regular starting 5 for the Lakers during that season was Kobe Bryant, Lamar Odom, Smush Parker, Chris Mihm, and Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown, God bless him, is a scrub.
Kobe agreed that his supporting cast was lacking. In a 2012 interview, Kobe said this concerning his teammates of the 2006 season. "I almost won MVP with Smush Parker and Kwame Brown on my team. I was shooting the ball 45 times a game. What was I supposed to do? Pass it to Chris Mihm or Kwame Brown?" Kobe was not one to mince words. He was being sarcastic about 45 shots a game, but he did shoot a career-high 27.2 shots per game that season. Despite the severe lack of talent and the fact that Kobe was facing double teams all year long, he still managed to have one of the best seasons of his career. Kobe averaged 35.4 points per game that season, which is the highest points per game average since Michael Jordan in the 1986-1987 season, who averaged 37.1. Kobe was the offense that season, as he accumulated the second highest usage rate for a season in NBA history at 38.7%. Kobe had 7 games in which he scored 50 or more points that season, including 62 versus the Mavericks in 3 quarters and the 81-point game. The Lakers finished the regular season with a 45-37 record, good enough for 7th in the Western Conference, and a first-round matchup with a far more talented Steve Nash-led Phoenix Suns. No one expected the Lakers to have a shot at that series, but with Kobe's lead, LA was able to pull ahead with a 3-1 lead on Kobe's famous buzzer beater. Despite the 3-1 lead and Kobe's 50 in Game 6, the powerful Suns were ultimately too much and prevailed in 7 games over the Lakers. Number 4, 1964 Oscar Robertson. Before Russell Westbrook did it, Oscar Robertson was the man famously known for averaging a triple-double over the course of a season. This was not Oscar's triple-double season, though, but it was arguably his most impressive. Over the 1963-1964 NBA season, Oscar averaged 31.4 points per game, 11 assists per game, and 9.9 rebounds per game. That's right, he was 0.1 rebounds away from having multiple triple-double seasons. He did this with extremely limited support, with the second best player being a rookie, Jerry Lucas. Despite the obstacles, Oscar led his Cincinnati Royals to a 55-25 record, good enough for the second best record in the Eastern Conference. They won their first playoff series against the Philadelphia 76ers 3-2, with Oscar leading every game in scoring for both teams. They were eventually eliminated in the second round by the Boston Celtics dynasty of the 60s. Number 3, 2016-2017 Russell Westbrook. I won't delve too deep into this season, considering we all basically just witnessed this. Russell Westbrook did what many people predicted after the departure of Kevin Durant, and became the first player to average a triple-double over the course of a season since Oscar Robertson in 1962, averaging 31.6 points per game, 10.4 assists, and 10.7 rebounds. It was impressive enough for Russell to drag his team to the playoffs, but in a stacked Western Conference is even more remarkable. Sure, there was some talent on that OKC team, like Oladipo, Adams, and Roberson as a defender, but there sure wasn't many shooters or offensive threats for Russell to pass to. You guys remember, every time Russell went to the bench is when the opponents made their run. His incredible value to OKC was recognized, as he was named the first MVP of the league since Michael Jordan in 1988 to have his team not finish as one of the top 2 teams in the conference. The Thunder finished 47-35, securing the 6th seed in the Western Conference before being eliminated in the first round by the Houston Rockets 4-1. Number 2, 2007 LeBron James. Now, if you ask me, this was by far LeBron's most impressive campaign, in which he dragged a sorry team to the NBA Finals. No one expected what LeBron and the Cavaliers were able to accomplish in the 2006-2007 season. LeBron was entering only his fourth season in the NBA as a 21-year-old, and he went on to achieve arguably the most impressive postseason run of his career. The most frequent starting five for the Cavs that season was LeBron, Larry Hughes, Eric Snow, Drew Gooden, and Zydrunas Ilgauskas. The Cavs' second leading scorer that season was Larry Hughes, a decent player but was never an all-star. He averaged 14.9 points per game on a below-average 40% field goal percentage that season. Needless to say, LeBron had his hands full with obstacles to overcome. Despite all of these obstacles, the Cavaliers finished the regular season with a 50-32 record and the second seed in the Eastern Conference, while LeBron was averaging 27.6 points per game, 6 assists, and 6.7 rebounds. Finishing second through the regular season with this supporting cast was an incredible accomplishment by itself, but that was only an appetizer for what LeBron had in store for the postseason. LeBron dominated the first round against Gilbert Arenas and the Washington Wizards, sweeping them in 4 games. The second round was similar as the Cavs defeated a more talented New Jersey Nets team in 6 games, who were led by Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, and Richard Jefferson. What LeBron did in the following round was what solidified this season as a historic and stunning run. The 2007 Eastern Conference Finals featured LeBron and his scrubs against the highly favored Detroit Pistons, a team who had finished with the best record in the East the past 2 seasons, a team rich with talent led by former Finals MVP Chauncey Billups and help from all-star players like Richard Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace, and Tayshaun Prince. No one outside of Cleveland actually expected this Cavs team to prevail over the former champion Detroit Pistons. But after 4 hard-fought close games, the series was tied at 2 games with the series moving back to Detroit. And that's when LeBron took over and let the world know that there was no way he was going to let the Cavs fall short of their first trip to the NBA Finals. The game was close with just minutes left in the fourth quarter when LeBron started heating up, and what ensued was one of the greatest, most legendary playoff performances of all time. LeBron was hitting everything and could not be stopped, from ferocious finishes at the rim to double-teamed jumpers. He carried the Cavs through the first and second overtime, scoring their final 25 points on 11 of 13 shooting, including the game winner. He finished the game with 48 points. LeBron had took all of the momentum, and in Game 6, they easily closed out the Pistons, earning their first trip to the NBA Finals in franchise history. The Spurs dynasty was ultimately too much for the Cavs in the Finals, sweeping them 4-0. Number 1. 2001 Allen Iverson. The greatest answer for a time a superstar player carried a team comes from the answer himself, Allen Iverson. The 2000-2001 76ers were a defensive-minded team with players like Theo Ratliff, Dikembe Mutombo, and Eric Snow. Not a single 76er outside of Allen Iverson averaged more than 13 points per game that season. Iverson was almost entirely the offense for this team, as he led the NBA in scoring with 31.1 points per game and minutes per game at 42. Despite the heavy load, Iverson still managed to lead the 76ers to a 56-26 record, the best record in the Eastern Conference. The impressive season was recognized and Iverson was awarded league MVP. The 76ers started their playoff run against the defending Eastern Conference champions, the Indiana Pacers. Iverson continued his offensive onslaught, averaging 31.5 points per game over the series, and the 76ers defeated the Pacers 3-1. The semifinals was a matchup against Vince Carter and the Toronto Raptors. It was an epic 7-game series with the two stars giving sensational performances. Despite Carter's best efforts, ultimately Iverson was again too much, averaging 33.7 points and 6.9 assists over the course of the series, including a 54-point showing in Game 2 and 52 in Game 5. On to the Eastern Conference Finals, which featured a meeting with a strong Milwaukee Bucks group, led by 3 stars Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson, and Sam Cassell. This series would also go 7 games, but there was no one in the East that was going to stop Iverson this year, as he closed out the series with 46 points in Game 6 and 44 points in Game 7, sending the 76ers to the NBA Finals. Over in the Western Conference, the Lakers were on one of the greatest playoff runs in NBA history. In the first round, they swept the loaded Sacramento Kings in 3 games. swept an as-loaded Portland team in the second round, and swept the Tim Duncan-led San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference Finals, setting up an NBA Finals matchup between the juggernaut Los Angeles Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, context for this series is extremely important. Understand, the Lakers were seemingly unstoppable at this point. Kobe and Shaq were each averaging roughly 30 points per game over the course of these playoffs and were entering these NBA Finals as the defending champion, undefeated 11-0 team, with their eyes set on not just repeating as champions, but also becoming the first undefeated team in NBA playoff history. Also, understand that the NBA in the early 2000s was kind of similar to the way the NBA currently is, in the sense that the Western Conference was far stronger than the Eastern Conference, and the Lakers had just steamrolled their way through it. With all of those things considered, almost no one in the basketball world gave the 76ers a shot at even winning a game over these overpowering Lakers, as the Lakers were considered one of the most highly favored teams in NBA Finals history. All that led into June 6, 2001 in Los Angeles. It was supposed to be a breeze for LA, but Iverson had something different in mind. Shaq had picked up where he had left off from last year's NBA Finals, dominating Dikembe Mutombo, Matt Geiger, and everyone else Philly tried to throw at him, en route to Shaq posting an incredible 44 points and 20 rebounds. It was going to take more than that against Allen Iverson, though, as he continued his incredible year, scoring in a multitude of ways, even while being guarded by Kobe Bryant. The game was back and forth throughout, and ultimately needed an overtime to decide the outcome. With less than a minute left in overtime, Iverson then made one of the most iconic plays in NBA history. He drove to his right toward the baseline, did a crossover, and then hit a dagger jumper to put the 76ers up by 4 points. He then proceeded to step over the defender Tyronn Lue. The game was sealed. The 76ers pulled off a monumental upset on the back of Allen Iverson, who had scored 48 points and had 6 steals. His iconic jumper and step over was a great play, but is famous for more than that. It symbolized the overcoming and incredible season of Allen Iverson and demonstrated that while others couldn't stand up to the all-time great 2001 Lakers, even they didn't have an answer for Allen Iverson. Of course, the all-time great Lakers eventually went on to win the series, but not without Iverson cementing his legacy by willing his team to an incredible postseason run and ultimately ruining the Lakers' undefeated playoff record.